What do you get when a London-raised American South African and a New York-raised Moroccan meet on the interwebs and become instant soul sisters? One of them, an Ayurvedic practitioner and transformation coach, and the other, a Conspire breathwork coach and Reiki master teacher. Both obsessed with wellness, family, entrepreneurship, relationships, and the magic of human expansion and growth. You get a whole convo. We truly believe that with an open heart, focused mind, and energy receptive to the possibilities, your wellness journey can guide you to a life that exceeds your wildest dreams. Welcome to our podcast. We're Ella and Iman, and we are so happy you're here. Come vibe with us as we explore the wholeness of being through the lens of wellness. Welcome to a whole convo with Ella and Iman. Iman, I caught you mid-giggle. How are you?
I'm really, really good. I'm in a giggly mood.
Giggles are welcome. Always, always, always welcome. And I feel like this is a bit of a giggly episode. My title, which I love it. Be so for real. Would you date you? Be so for real, Iman, would you?
I mean, duh. I am a catch.
I love it. Please elaborate.
I love that you wanted to have this title and do this episode because I think it just all it really means is, are you doing the work? Are you self-evolving? Are you caring for yourself in a way that allows others to even appreciate you the way you appreciate you? Are you?
And do
And
you appreciate you?
honestly, and that's why I said, hell yeah, because let me tell you, I'd probably say it's gotten deeper and more intricate for me personally the past, let's say, 7 years. Past 7 years have been really enthralled in Iman 2.0 and just
Okay.
work and digging deep. And, I am happily married. I think some of the hardest and most challenging work for the inner self is in a relationship.
For sure.
Nothing challenges you to really look at you as much as a partnership, especially a partnership that is so committed to the evolution of
Mm.
the union and self for their individuality too. So for me, I've always been into self-development. I've always been into like really working on myself, elevating. But I think sometimes that term is used very loosely, like self-development, because I can't really interpret the last 7 years, even though it included self-development. The last 7 years really felt more like a deep, deep discovery and exploration of the most authentic me I am.
And what is that if not self-development?
Questioning. That's what I just said. Even though is an aspect of self-development, it's a little bit deeper because it's even other development. like in working on yourself, you're being better for other people.
But okay, so I think this is the thing. So maybe let's define what you may mean by self-development or you think that others may mean, because to me, it's anything that allows us to show up in a way that is more whole, more complete. And I think there may be a general understanding that it's about things that you do or the way that
Right,
you like create
right,
your success or
right. And that's what I meant. I think most people would define it that way. I
Mhm.
also think that self-development it is exactly what you said, but I
encompasses, yeah.
also know that the past 7 years have been a little bit deeper than just that because there can be moments in which it has nothing to do with you. The thing you're aware of. Maybe it's
Hmm.
a partner, maybe it's a sibling, maybe it's a parent, right? And your awareness of that other person, whether it's observation or really trying to understand, that experience allows you to grow as a person, allows you to grow as self. So yes, it's self-development, but I don't think a lot of people consider that when they say the word self-development. Like when people hear self-development, they think of like conferences or Tony Robbins or like self-development tools or self-development books or just like really about I'm working on myself.
Mm-hmm.
But like rarely do they will they say something like I've been observing someone that I've been entangled and really trying to understand their thought process and perspective and their own conditioning and their own traumas and what led them to think and be the, do you know what I mean? Like
And that
rarely
dynamic
connected,
within.
it's rarely connected to understanding others. And that's why I mentioned it that way.
Wonderful. So you're saying that over these last 7 years, that's been a really deep focus for you. And how has that impacted your idea of being in relationship as that connection of understanding yourself and how you relate in that relationship, how you show up, who you can be?
All levels, better listener, more compassionate,
Mm,
choosing the battles better, like choosing, like there's things that are unnecessary to bring up, to say releasing more control. This is still something I'm working on,
it's a
but
big thing.
big thing, especially in, partnership and that. So those just to name a few. So I would totally date me. Husband's currently dating me. I'm dating me. What about you, Ella?
Well, it's such an interesting thing because you know I don't have a significant other, and in this I've been through so many like evolutions of experiencing meeting people and dating, and it's very different to how it was when I started out all back in the day before the internet. you know when you used to go out, people say we used to go out and meet people. It's really funny because a lot of the friends that I went to school with, they've been married, the same partners, like 25 years,
Wow.
26, 27 years. And they talk about how it would be really difficult. They wouldn't go on apps. They wouldn't try and meet people in the way that you're supposed to meet people in this day and age. And I think with that, seeing the perception of what you're expecting people to be like, because there's just so many things that have come into how we meet people that may be very artificial to the way that people used to connect. And I say used to, but that's not true because people still connect like in
Right.
person.
Yeah,
People
and
still meet people.
sure.
People. So it's, I guess, the shift into the more casual way of swiping, being on apps, and the throwaway idea that you can just go, I like you, I don't like you, based on what you look like, based on this very short, not necessarily representative idea of what a person is. So, from that perspective, it's been an interesting journey for me. And I'm just trying to think. The last few people that I've actually dated, I've actually met in person. So, it's not been on apps. But the reason I asked this question, because I think it's a bit funny,
But you didn't answer my question.
I'm getting to it. The reason that I put the question out in the first place, or just said it like, be so for real, would you date you? Is it's very easy to complain about people and what they are or not doing, what they should and shouldn't be like, how difficult things are because it's so different. It's not what we expect it to be. So I think there's a lot of that rhetoric where people are kind of stuck on that. And then that's where the question comes from. Well, would you date you? Do you think you're a catch? Do you think you're that person? And me personally, in this season of my life, I'm going to say I wouldn't. It's
Yeah.
a no. And that's because it's I am like you, constantly finding the places of friction in my life, constantly finding places where things don't feel at the way that I would prefer them to feel.
in the knowledge that there's never a point of arrival. It's a constant evolution and constant work in progress. And
Right.
that was a journey for me to get to that understanding. In my younger years, I felt like, oh, I want to get to this point where I'm fixed and then I can go on with living my life. But that's a whole convo. But in in understanding that it is an evolution and there is always an opportunity to expand, to learn more, to develop more. And to me, that idea of self-development is being able to show up in the most connected awareness of my impact of myself into the world and how I receive the interactions with others into my world and what I do with that. So, whether that's emotional work that I need to look at, whether it's being able to step back and get out of what I think people should or shouldn't be doing based on my experience of the world or the filters that I see life through, and actually see what's happening and what's going on and work from that space. All of those parts, moving parts of it. And I feel for me, the reason I wouldn't date me is because this season is all about me. This is the first time in my adult life that I haven't had to be taking care of other people
Mhm.
as the primary focus. I have, because of the dynamics that I had growing
Yes, you're a
up,
mom of two.
Mama, but even way before that, the dynamics of my relationships growing up, I was the parent in a lot of relationships.
Mm.
So being that parent and then going on to have my own children, and then whilst I was still in that phase, being a carer for one of my parents. So I've been in that caring role for so long, I haven't actually, and I was checking this out because a lot of the conversations we've had have been, oh yeah, I used to do that when I was younger. I used to do that when I was younger. And I realized that so much of my personal life experience got arrested at the time I had kids because the focus was always external. So this is the first season in my life where I'm actually consciously, deliberately taking care of me and rediscovering some of the places where I left off because I took up that caring role in a more meaningful and more all-encompassing way. So being able to deliberately say, no, I'm taking care of me. I'm rediscovering the things that are important to me. I'm working on the things and areas for improvement that are important and that mean something for me. And because of that, it's not about dating. It's not about externalizing that focus. So
Yeah.
I would for real not date me because I'm all about me. I haven't got time for anybody else right now.
I love that. Irene and I wrote a book on relationships, you know.
But we know that that's a whole convo in itself.
Oh, for sure. One of the things that is like really rooted in both of our beliefs as well is that we don't believe that partnership is about like finding the person that makes you, completes you. Now people will say, "Oh, hey, introduce me to your other half." We don't believe in other halves and, you know, this person completes me.
Hmm.
So I love that you said it in that way because it's not really negate, it's not about having another person into your life being like this negative thing just because of the season in your life, but really wanting to feel what it is to be Ella and rediscover what like Ella loves and does, and not to have to constantly think about someone else. For that to be the first time in a long time, if ever, I feel like
In my entire
into your
life,
life
I can
is,
wholeheartedly say that this is the first
and
time
I
in my life.
believe it is absolutely the most important thing you can do in life, period. Because I really don't think, even though I believe that we can grow while being in a relationship, and it's not like about, I need to wait till I'm perfect or I need to like keep working on myself to be in partnership. That's not what it's about. Like I said in the beginning, I think partnerships and relationships are one of the most incredible catalysts for self-development
For
and
sure.
for growth, especially when people are committed and doing the work and they care. But I do believe that when someone like yourself, and I can relate to this in another way, which, you know, is a whole other conversation, but when you're at a place where you haven't been giving to you, it doesn't really make the relationship as juicy as it can be, as incredible as it can be, as fair as it can be, because there's like this like underlying like need and desire to be with you and only you. It's like, get out of my face. Like, I don't want, and then all these added layers to what they may need or what they may like be working on. So I love this season for you, girl.
Oh, I'm so happy to be in it.
Love this season for you.
I'm so happy to be in it. And as you said, I am so aware of having a conscious relationship where you are working with your partner to move forward together together as the partnership, but also together as individuals, is such a sacred, important commitment that we can make in our lives. And I feel, some of the way that this instant culture in hooking up with people or getting into relationships or whatever, and this is like, it has moved us away from this understanding in a lot of ways. And I enjoy this season of it being all about me, knowing that when the time is right, I open myself up to learning more, to growing more, to being that contributing force to a partnership where I'm sure there will be many opportunities for growth.
Forever and always.
For real, for real, for
Always,
real.
always, for real. Always opportunity for growth. I mean, I can respect your answer of no, but I would totally date you, Ella. Just putting it out there. Okay, you are.
Thank you.
I am so excited for the person because, and I only say this because I know you want a partner. Because another thing I'll say is that not everyone wants a partner.
Yeah.
Not everyone wants to be dating or have someone
Coupled
want
up.
to date them. Not everyone wants to be married. I don't think that it's everyone's, thing to be in relationships. And I think that's beautiful. I think there are some people who love being solo, whether they are dating or not, like they're not looking for a partnership. But because I know that's something you desire, I'm excited for the person who will be that person.
And we also know that my husband's in America, so
100%. Yep. And I say they're in New York, but that's just me.
because do you know the funniest thing? I have known this. I can't even tell you how long. I remember being a child thinking, my husband is in America. And I say this, and I've never been married. So, just ... watch this space.
I love it. I love it. This was fun.
It was, my darling. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And thank you for this question. Our listeners enjoyed and loving on themselves as much as they love on others.
Very important. Very, very important.
Thank you so much for listening in. This has been a whole convo with Ella and Iman.
Until next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
That is a wrap on this week's convo. We had a blast talking to you.
Thank you for sharing your time, hearts, and minds with us.
We hope this episode left you thinking, feeling, and maybe even breathing a little deeper. If it moved something in you, please share it, text it to a friend, or just sit with it.
Remember, the power of change can start with the simplest convo.
And if you have any comments or thoughts you'd like to share with us, please feel free to do so. We'd love to connect with you. Don't forget to subscribe to our show so you never miss a moment of the magic. And if you're curious about any of our services and offerings, check out the show notes for all the links and goodies. We're so grateful you're on this journey with us. Until next time,
stay rooted, stay whole.